I don't live much an exciting life, but whenever people ask me for a scary story, this is the one I tell. I was 17 at the time, just finishing up my last summer before college. My hometown wasn't much, just a small, quiet suburb that looked like every other one in America. The kind of place where everyone knew each other. The streetlights flickered lazily at night, and the most exciting thing that ever happened was the occasional high school party that got broken up by the cops. But there was one part of town that always felt off. It was a stretch of abandoned railway tracks that ran parallel to the woods on the outskirts. Most of the tracks had been stripped away years ago, but the path was still there, overgrown, cracked, forgotten. No one really went down there, not because it was dangerous, but because it just had a bad reputation. The kind of place you heard whispers about. Stories of people going down there and seeing things, hearing things. I never really bought into that stuff. It was just old tracks and some trees, nothing more. That summer, I had a routine. I was a runner, cross-country captain, obsessed with staying in shape. So every night when the sun went down, I went out for a run. It was the best part of my day. The world felt quiet, the air was cool, and for those few miles, everything made sense. One night, I decided to take a different route. I don't know why. Maybe I was bored of the same roads. Maybe I just wanted to change. But for whatever reason, I took a left instead of right, and I found myself near the old railway path. It was darker than I expected. The trees loomed over the dirt trail, their branches tangled like skeletal fingers. The only sounds were my footsteps against the gravel and the occasional rustling of something unseen in the woods. Probably just a raccoon, I told myself. I kept running. A few minutes in, I started to hear something else. Footsteps. At first, I thought it was just the echo of my own steps bouncing off the trees. But then I noticed there was a delay. I'd step, and half a second later, there it was, a second set of footsteps, just slightly behind mine. I slowed down. So did the steps. I stopped. Silence. My breath was heavy in my ears, my heart hammering against my ribs. I turned around, scanning the path behind me. Nothing. Just the empty stretch of dirt and weeds, vanishing into the dark. I let out a nervous laugh and shook it off. Just my mind playing tricks on me. I kept running. The footsteps came back. This time, I didn't stop. I turned my head just for a second, just to check. And that's when I saw him. A figure, maybe 20 feet behind me. Tall, thin, standing completely still in the middle of the path. His face, I couldn't see it. Just a dark shape, staring at me. I didn't wait. I ran. I don't think I've ever run that fast in my life. My legs burned, my lungs screamed, but I didn't stop. I didn't look back. I could hear my own footsteps, and underneath them, his, closer, faster. The trees blurred past me as I sprinted toward the edge of the woods, toward the nearest streetlight, towards safety. My house was maybe 5 blocks away. If I could just make it to the road. And then the footsteps stopped, just gone. I didn't slow down, didn't look back until I reached my front door. When I finally turned around, the street was empty. The trees swayed gently in the night breeze. The railway path was shrouded in darkness. I stood there, gasping for breath, staring into that emptiness. I wanted to believe I had imagined it, that my brain had conjured up some shadowy figure from the stories I'd heard as a kid. But then I saw something on the ground, right at the edge of my driveway. A single footprint, not mine, bigger, deeper, pressed into the dirt like someone had been standing there, waiting. I never ran down that path again.